Hey, hello, and welcome to another episode in this forever world. Now, today I have a bit of a plan. Something I've come to realize is that we have relying on ender pearls for some of our farms, which isn't bad. I mean, the ender pearls work fine for our villager breeder and whatnot, but what I do want to do is move our iron farm. I feel like this should be producing more than it is. It's not to say we're not getting a lot of... It's not to say we're not getting anything out of it. But I have had a couple of mishaps lately. Well, they just don't feel right. You know, I forget... the couple of mishaps that I have had kind of involves me, well, dying, basically. I'm not forgetting to, reload the ender pearl for a while. So what I want to do is move that into the spawn chunks. Or what little is left of them these days, because... Well, it used to cover a decent area. Which, actually, this might have been on the very edge of it. Nowadays, it only covers a 3x3 area, I believe. Which isn't very big. Alright, well, this appears to be it. So, let's, mark it real quick. As you can see, we're really not that far away. However, now, if I'm not mistaken, that basically means this chunk, this chunk, this chunk. We also basically this chunk. Yeah, so it's basically 9 chunks, right? Centered on that. Problem is, it's a little high. We're at what? Y level 72. Even as far as I'm concerned, this is a little high. So what I want to do is take all of this spawn chunk area down to bedrock. I want to maximize what we can do in this area. There's definitely going to be some iron farms down here. But I do also want to leave room for expansion. Now, I might make this a little bit bigger just off the chunks for, both just for ease of building. In case, what I want to do is going to be on the edge of the chunk. I'd rather it not interfere with the wall. And, maybe just other things that I might want to stick here, but don't want to, have completely in that way. You know, in the spawn chunks themselves. Yeah, so what I want to do is, I'll get some stuff together, and I'm going to, build a world leader here, and, take this entire 3x3, probably a little extra, down to, bedrock. So, I'm gonna go get what I need together, and I'll see you back here once I have what I need, and, we can start taking this area down. Alright, well, now that we got rid of all the trees, that hopefully now we won't have to worry about interference with our machine. We can start building it and blasting out this area. I do have to do a little bit of prep too about that water there, which that won't be too bad. That won't be too bad, but you know, we could handle that pretty easily. It's only a small section. Hopefully it won't get too bad and I won't have to go deal with an ocean monument, but we'll see. Either way, I'm gonna start working on that, and I'll see you back when hopefully we have a giant hole here. Well, the initial setup went well. However, I guess there's a decent amount of underwater caves here, because, well, we got a lot of water. I did notice at least one when I originally tested it to make sure that I had everything lined up, but yeah, I get the feeling that, since you can see this, goes down a ways, we're gonna need some sponge. I was kind of hoping I'd get lucky and didn't have to deal with that, but clearly not so much. It did have a little bit of a hiccup on this one where, I don't know, for some reason, I don't know why, it just kind of blew up halfway through. It's strange. I don't know why it happened, but it happened. So now clearly what I'm going to have to do is go raid an ocean monument and hopefully find a sponge room. So yeah, I'm gonna go find one of those and get us some sponges and clean up some of this water. So we're not gonna be able to do anything with this at the moment. So I'll see you back once I find one of those. Alright, well, appears we found ourselves an ocean monument. I know it's gonna be probably hard to tell because I don't think you quite see it from here. It's a little bit out there, not far. Kind of passed over on the way out here. So gonna make sure we got everything we need to handle this bit of business, and I think we're alright. Now I guess it's just time to give it a go. Oh, there it is. Dive bomb. Oh. Doom doom. Oh, there he goes. This place is always confused. Ah, here we go. I figured we'd find you sooner than later. And there's sponge room number 2. Alright, well, fishing mailed. Mission accomplished. Alright, well, that was pretty easy. How many sponges we get? A whole stack. It's actually pretty good. So now, all we gotta do is go home, dry them out, and then we can start getting that water removed from the hole. So I'll see you back once I get over there and start pulling water again. We can finish digging a hole. Alright, well now that we dug ourselves a big hole, I do have what is probably going to be the enormous task of cleaning all of this up. We did have a few stragglers, and also a few stragglers. Now, like I said, it's time to clean up. We gotta clean up our world eater, all the little straggly blocks. I gotta smooth out the walls a little bit. I'm not gonna go absolutely crazy with the walls, only because I really only need it to be 3 chunks wide, 3 chunks deep. So I might go, you know, maybe a block or 2 past that. We'll light up some of the caves that we do have in here. Well, like here and some other places. While I'm here, I might grab the little diamonds that are poking out of the walls just for keepsakes. You never know when they might come in handy. I don't really have much of a use for them right now, but that doesn't mean we won't find one. So yeah, I got a lot of work ahead of me. So I'm gonna get a handle on that and come up with a design for the wall and whatnot. And then we can get to work, start building our farm. We'll do something about the floor too, because that's just all jagged bedrock, and you know, don't nobody want that. Start getting all this cleaned up and everything else, and I'll see you back once we have something a bit nicer to look at. All right. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. Roughly about 9 hours just to smooth out the walls. That's not including time spent having to repair the tools and whatnot. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have cut it back as far after the rough cut. So what I noticed is when I started at the top, it was a lot wider than at the base. Part of that might have had to do with water issues we were getting while we were detonating the hole. But either way, I did also have to make a run to the end to get a whole bunch more shulker boxes. Now, this right here is all deep slate. All deep slate. We got, what, 15, 16, 17 shulker boxes of deep slate. Or cobbled deep slate. I do also have 2 boxes of, like, regular deep slate. So, we should be set on that for a while. Yeah, even with a beacon, that took forever. The stone wasn't too bad. That went pretty quick. The stone, granite, all that other stuff. But deep slate, my god, what a pain. So I figured if I was after the first wall, I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well save save every piece that I can. I know I didn't save everything because a lot of it did fall down and despawn, but I feel like I saved good 80% of it. I mean, we mined 38,000 deep slate. Now, I did have some deep slate mined. It definitely wasn't. I don't even think it was 10,000. It was probably closer to like 3 or 4 before I started this. And if we got what? There's roughly about 1,700, I want to say, per box. Yeah, most of it about 29,376. Most of that 38,000. I got 32,832 pieces. So we should be good for quite a while. Now, the thing is, I did fill in most of this floor with glass before I started. I do gotta get some more to polish this off. It's just black stained glass. So, I'm gonna get the work cleaning up, put this stuff away, get some other stuff I gotta do, and then, I'll either start working on the walls or, start putting the farm in here. I'm not sure which. But either way, I guess, you'll see it when it happens. Alright? Yeah, right. Well, now we got the rough build put together. You guess you could kind of tell what I'm going for here. Basically similar to the iron farm that we had built in an earlier episode, but times 16. I did some testing. If I do believe, just slight bit of testing I did. You should get about 85 blocks of iron per hour, hopefully. Right now, I'm starting to put the villagers in. I'm gonna get all the villagers in first, and then I'll worry about adding the zombies and whatnot. This is clearly going to take me a while. I am pulling them out of our villager breeder. We should have plenty. Yeah, hopefully, I can get this done in the next couple of hours. Then we could start try to get ourselves some zombies to put in here, which is actually probably the bigger pain. I'm gonna get to grabbing my villagers and filling this up, and then we'll get to putting the zombies in and finishing this bad boy up. So see you once I've got some progress done on all of that. All right. Yeah, right. That took quite a while to load that up. But we're all set now. We got our villagers all loaded up. Got the zombies in there. And we're producing iron. A decent amount, actually. Just in the time that it took me to load the zombies, we have gotten almost 2 stacks of iron blocks. So, I mean, it's not a bad haul. I'd have to look at the timestamp to see what that is, but just off the top of my head, I'd say it's been a good probable 2 hours. We do have the one problem of having this... Let's go up a little higher. We do have the one problem of having this big open eyesore. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I do have an idea of what I want to do with this. However, I'm not entirely sure I'm skilled enough to pull it off, but I'm gonna give it the good old college try, and well, if we had it, we could always just act like we never saw it anyway. I mean, the main purpose of this thing is to just get us iron. But yeah, I gotta get to work on coming up with a plan for this, and well, then we can start building and getting this all covered up and making the area look pretty again. So I'll check back in with you once we have all of that done. All right? All right, well, as you can see, iron's flowing in, and I got a bit of a problem. Obviously, it's been running for about 7 hours, or for during the course of this whole build, which has been about 7 hours. I'm getting so many iron blocks now. Yeah, the hopper's full. And the barrel I was using to catch it is also full. I also got like 45 bone blocks. I didn't really think this was going to produce that much iron, but I guess we're pretty well in set then for however much we might need. I'm going to clean this out, and then I'll take you up top and I'll show you what's going on up there. Alright. I said that was actually a decent amount. We got an entire shulker plus 5 stacks on 7 hours. How many? That's a lot of ingots. I'm not going to do the math on that, because, well, maybe I will at some point, or I'll just put it in the, on screen here. Anywho, I wanted to show this off, wanted this to feel like a nice, quiet, peaceful grove. Nice, peaceful grove. Little homage to what's going on underneath. Much more peaceful than what's going on underneath, too. We got our little iron golem just sitting here contemplating. Now, you might ask what this daylight sensor is doing here. I did have a problem with the villagers retaining their beds. So, with the help of a little wall stone, we just send a signal down to close the trapdoors for, I want to say, timed it for about 5 seconds. Just enough for them to remember, hey, I got a bed here, go to sleep in it. We got ourselves a couple of custom trees around to try to give it that sort of full of life feel. I might wind up putting fish in here. I don't know, because they do have a tendency to off themselves, the same as the villagers, which is why they kind of have to be kept where they are. But yeah, we can just take a look from the golem's perspective here. It's just kind of peaceful. Our base off in the distance. That there is our peaceful little grove / iron farm. And that's where I'm going to wind up cutting it off today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please leave a like and maybe subscribe for more content. And I'll see you again in the next one. Goodbye.